Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Marabella Muncie and today I'd like to speak with you about choosing your own crystal. I am a hypnotherapist, an EFT practitioner, a unicorn and elemental healing practitioner, as well as I give chakra balance therapy. And in a lot of my therapies and just around my house, I have a lot of crystals. And I find them to be so great, such great energy boosters. You can program a crystal and have a manifestation practice with it. You can draw in something that you want into your life, abundance, prosperity, and they're just also beautiful to look at. One of the main questions I get from people a lot over the years is they'd like to know how to pick out a crystal. They are so confused because there's so much to choose from. I use crystals sometimes in my therapy sessions, and the number one question I get is how can people pick out crystals for themselves? Because it is overwhelming. You walk into a store and there's tons to choose from. You don't know what crystal to buy for what. Sometimes if you buy online, it can be super confusing. You don't know if the crystal's real or not. So I'd like to offer a couple of tips for picking out a crystal for yourself. Okay, so the tips that I can give you for picking out crystals are, number one, the first tip is go with your intuition. So later on in the video, I'm going to show you some different crystals for different reasons. So maybe, for example, if you wanted to manifest money, then you would use green crystals. So there are some little rules, but to me, the most important thing is that you go with your intuition. I feel like your heart is going to lead you to the right crystal. So when you go into a store, I prefer buying the crystals in person, unless you know a real reputable crystal company online where they sell actual real crystals. And if you do, that's fine too. You can use the same process for online as in a store. But I like to go to the rock and gem shows. And where I live, we have 3 or 4 of them a year. And I really like to buy my crystals that way because I can buy from the same crystal seller, and it's great because then I know the crystals are real. I know that I'm not going to be scammed, and it's fun to walk into the rock and gem shows because there's so many crystals, so many different types of crystals, differences to choose from, and you get to kind of know the rock and gem sellers, which is fantastic because they see you each time and they remember you, and then you know that you've got a friend and you're buying an authentic piece. So what I like to do is I like to tune into my heart as I walk into the store and just go from my head to the overwhelm in my head to in my heart. And then I like to look around and I like to see all the crystals. I'm like a kid in a candy shop, really. It's so much fun. And pretty soon a crystal will jump out at me. Not literally, but almost. I'll be really drawn to a crystal. And a lot of times I go to these shows with no intention on what to buy. I just know that I want to explore the store and have fun. So my number one tip is to let your heart lead and to go to what you're drawn to. And then if they let you, sometimes the sellers will allow you to pick up the gem and put it in your hand, and then you can feel its energy. And then you'll know. So sometimes you'll know by looking, and sometimes you'll know by feeling. But if you see it, and then you put it in your hand and it feels really good, then you know it's for you. So that is my biggest tip, is to go on your intuition by looking, first by tuning into your heart, then by looking, then by actually, if they allow it, to pick up and feel it. And your intuition will never steer you wrong. And sometimes a crystal will just actually really speak to you. maybe you're not at a rock and gem show, but you're at some other kind of store, and for some reason you're just drawn to it and you don't know why, then you know it's for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments and I will do my best to answer. Thank you. Blessings.